So our today topic is Java comments. We also learn about in short about Java comments. Then we study about Java program development. So here we study about comments in detail. So firstly, what is Java comments? Comments can be used to explain Java code and to make it more readable. In a program, comments take part in making the program become more human readable by placing the detail of code involved. And proper use of comments makes maintenance easier and finding bugs easily. So basically, comments helps to tell about detail of code. Means if we are writing a function, we can say function to perform addition. So we can write a comment perform addition. If we are writing a method for subtraction, so for in comment we can write performing subtraction. So it helps to understand the code. So for example, if there is a error when we execute our program, the program not return us correct addition. So now we know that there will be a error in some function code because our sum function is performing addition. So if addition output is not correct, it means there is an error in addition code. So by comment we can search and we can find error in some code. Instead of traversing whole program, we just see the code of addition, because comment tells us which code is written for addition, which code is written for subtraction. So with the help of comments, maintenance is easy and finding bugs is easy. Another example where Java comments can be helpful. For example, some employees in company develop an application and deliver to the customer. But after some years, now customer wants some updation, some changes. But that time, the employees who developed that application is not available. They left the job. So now the new employees can easily update the application with the help of comments, because comment explain the detail of code, means working of the code. So a program written by someone can be maintained, upgraded by another with the help of comments. So comments are ignored by compiler while compiling a code. When we compile our program, the comments will ignored by compiler. Types of comments. There are 3 types of comments: single line, multi-line, documentation comments. So now we will study about each type of comments one by one and know about what is the main difference between these types. So firstly, we have single line comments. A beginner level programmer uses mostly single line comments for describing the code functionality. It's the most easiest type comments. And syntax for single line comment, firstly we will write double slash and then we write our comment like a comment here, but our comment must be in one line. So for one line comment we use single line comment. So if you use a single line comment like a double slash and then we write our comment in a 2 line, then the first line will be commented but second line will not, and compiler generate an error because compiler consider second line as program code. So in single line we can write only one line comment. So here is an example of single line comment. At starting we writing the purpose of our program in comment like Java program to show single line comments. Then we start a class. In class we define a main method And then again we write here a comment, single line comment here. We can also write here printing print message. So as per our requirement, we can write our comment where we are writing here like a class assessment. So here we can also add a comment like class definition and main when we writing here public static void main string arts. Here we can also add a comment like double slash main method definition. So we can add number of comments as per our requirement, but condition is comment must be in one line. For example, here we want to write a class definition because this is our class definition. So we can use comments in our program to describe the purpose of our statements. So now if we want to write comment more than one line, then our second type of comment will be used, multi-line comment. It can be more than one line. When we want to write a comment more than one line, then we can use multi-line. In this, we can write 2 line, 3 line, 4 line as per our requirement. So multi-line comment begins with the delimiter slash star and ends with star slash. All text written between this delimiter is ignored by compiler. So syntax, here syntax is defined like firstly double slash star and it end with star slash. So inside this delimiter we write our comment, and here we are writing our comment in 4 line. So this part will be ignored by compiler. So here is the example multi-line comment. At starting, we write our comment like Java program to show multi-line comments. And here we are writing just our comment in 1 line. So that's why we can use single line comment. It start with the double slash. Then a class is defined. Inside the class, we define main method. And in the body of a main method, we print just a message. And after that, we write our comment. So we can write as per our requirement. Here we are just like writing comment line 1, comment line 2, comment line 3. Just for understanding, we can write here like in first line multi-line, then comments, and third line in below. We can write anything as per requirement. So then last type of comment is documentation comments. This comment style is new in Java. And these comment will be start with the delimiter slash, then double star and end with the star slash. This comment is also ignored by a compiler. What is the main purpose of a documentation comment? Main purpose of this type of comment is to automatically generate program documentation. And this comment is also called doc comment because JDK Java doc tool use doc comments when preparing automatically generated documentation. We learn about Java doc, which helps to prepare program documentation in HTML format. So this comment will be read by Java doc. Java doc tools read these comments and uses them to prepare your program documentation in HTML format. So here syntax is firstly delimiter slash double star, then we can write our comment, and at the end we will use star slash. So here is a simple example of documentation comment. Firstly, we starting here our comment documentation comment, because we using here slash double slash, and our comment is ended here. So inside we can write our comment, and here we are using some HTML tags because Java doc convert this comment into HTML format. So this comment will be executed when it will be converted into HTML. First one is header, hello world, as you can write as per your choice. In this, we can also use some tag. In this program, we use 3 tags. You can use a number of tags that is available on internet. So if you want to study in detail about tags, you can see it from Google. So here I'm using author, and each tag will be started by @ author. Then we defining the author name Jara Ali, version, and since. Then simply we write our program like we define a class, then main method, and in body of main method we use a single line comment and print just hello world. The main document change in this program is documentation comment. So here author is used to display the name of author. For example, someone developed by application and he want to add his or her name in application. So he or she can use @author. For example, Jara Ali create this program and publish it. So he want to display his name in documentation. So that's why @author is used. Then version, we use softwares, and there are number of versions available in market. Firstly, one version will be released after some time. Updation will be come in market, and its version will be incremented. So if we want to add version in our code, then we can use tag @version, and since it will show when this program will be, then this program was developed. So since here you can add date, month, year as per your requirement. So that is all about the comments and their types. So our next topic is classes and objects. Firstly, we will know about classes. A class is a basic building block of all Java program. It is a logical way to group together fields that hold values and associated methods that operate on those fields into a single unit. So as we know, in class, we group together fields and methods. Fields are known as variables and methods into a single unit. A class provides the structure or blueprint for creating objects. As we know, class is just structure and blueprint, and we can use this class with help of objects. So firstly, our class will be created, then we can use this class with help of objects. Without creation of class, object cannot use any class. So first step in classes and object to create a class. Then we will create objects, and then we will assess fields and methods with help of objects. So firstly, we will create a class, and here a class definition means way to create a class, way to define a class. So now let us understand about class definition. A class definition is consist of 2 parts. So in class, we have two parts like class header, class body. So now let us understand about what is class header, class body in class. So firstly, class header declares the name of class along with other information. When we create a class, we writing like public class. We writing here like class, then our class name write rectangle. This is our class header. Class header declare name of class along with other information. So there can be other information like we implement inheritance, then we write like implement class, our base class, for example draw. So that we will study in inheritance. So now we will deal just like this class rectangle. So in class header, it declare class name, and at firstly we use keyword class followed by class name. So here can be another information like we can write here public, we can also write here private, that define the access specifier of class. So in class header, name of class will be there, and we can use other information also as per our requirement. So now what is class body? Class body is enclosed within braces and consists of fields, methods, constructions, and other declarations. So now firstly we write our class name like class rectangle, then curly braces will be started. So inside the curly braces we write methods, means functions, and one function we always write main function. So except a main function, we can write other functions also. Fields, variables, we writing like int a, int b, that is fields. So in class body, we can write fields, methods, constructions. We will learn about constructions in coming topic. So basically constructors used to initialize a value. So we can write constructions inside class body, and other declaration we can use as per our requirement. Let us understand about class definition with help of an diagram, we can say with example. So firstly we write a class public class demo. This is class header. Here class name is demo, and then curly braces, pair of curly brace. This is body of a class. So inside the body we can declare fields, means variables, then methods, functions, other declarations like constructions as per our requirement. So this is the basic structure of class definition. So now we will study about class header and class body with the help of a syntax and example. So firstly, learn about class header. A class definition begin with the class header. So also when we start writing a class, when we start creating a class, firstly we write class header like public class rectangle. Minimally consistent means minimum that must be in class header, that cannot be removed. A keyword class followed by name. So in a header we cannot eliminate keyword class, we cannot remove keyword class, and class name is compulsory. So we have to write class rectangle. This is minimally consistent, means this cannot be removed, cannot be omitted from the class header. And we can add another things as per our requirement, like we can use public keyword for access specifiers. The keyword class inform the compiler that you are specifying a class. So class keyword tells the compiler that a class is specifier, a class is created here. And then class keyword is followed by class name, means after the class keyword we are writing our class name that defines the name of class given by programmer. So here syntax of class header is firstly class keyword and then our class name. And example, like firstly we will use the keyword class. So firstly we write class and then class name rectangle we can use as per our requirement. But class name first letter must be capital. Here R is capital. So if we are try to write small r, there will be an compilation time error. So now study about class body. A class body which is enclosed in curly braces, as we see in diagram in program, that class body is enclosed in curly braces, which can contain declaration of elements like variables that make up object of the class. So in other word, in simple words, we can say a class body includes field, methods. These are known as member of a class. So in class, basically we write data fields and data methods. These are known as member of class. Field declaration provide state. As we know, variable define state of an class, and function method define behavior of the class. So method declaration provide behavior of the class and its object. The class body, the class body may also include constructors, nested classes, etc. So except field and methods, we can also add constructors and nested classes as per our requirement. Here is a class example. Firstly, we write here class header. This is our class header. And as we see in syntax, firstly we use a keyword class, then our class name, that is rectangle, and this is the body of our class. So inside the body, firstly we declare fields, field declaration. This is our field declaration. Field declarations. So then in class there is method declaration. This is the method declaration. Void set data, it is a one method. Int area, this is our second method. Here we declare two methods. So there is two method declaration. This is our method declaration. We can write here like this. This is our class body. So this part is our class header. So basically, when we want to create a class, firstly we will write class header and then we have to write class body. And inside the class body, there will be field declaration, method declaration, and there can be constructions as per our constructors as per our requirement. So after study about class definition, now we will study about field declaration and method declarations. Fields are named variable. We can say our fields are variables. So field declaration consists of we know about the variable declaration, in which firstly we write the data type and then our variable name. Similarly, in classes, in field declarations, firstly we will write data type and then our field name. So syntax is firstly data type and then our field name. So for example, firstly we write our data type int and then our field name is length. You can use any data type as per your requirement and field name as per your choice. For example, I want to use float values. So then we can write float length. So it's depend upon our requirement and choice. So basic syntax for field declaration is firstly data type and then field name. For example, we want to create a class to calculate area of rectangle, perimeter of rectangle. So we know we require two fields like length and breadth. So we can declare two fields, int length, int float, int length, int breadth. If we want to take length and breadth of integer type, we can also use float type. So in field declaration, we declare our fields, our variables that we want to use in classes, in functions. So now second is defining methods. In our class, there is a field declaration. We learn about that is our variables. So second one is method declarations. So for method declarations, we define a method. So as we know, method is a self-contained block of code that perform a specific task. So as we know, function is a block of code that perform a specific task. For example, we're writing a method for sum. So it will perform addition. We're writing a method for subtraction. It will perform subtraction of numbers. So now in method definition, this is also two parts. It have also two parts. First one is method header and then method body. So now learn about method header and method body one by one. So when we want to define a method, we have to write method header and then method body. So method header, the minimally consists of a method return type followed by method name and optional parameter list enclosed in parentheses. So minimal consist means that cannot be omitted. Firstly, we have to write return type. Then our method name, function name, and in parentheses we write our parameters. We can skip it if we not want to pass any parameter, then we can keep it empty. So syntax for method header. Firstly, we will write return type. This is our return type. Then method name. This is the name of our method, name of function. Then parentheses. In parentheses, here we are writing two parameters. So in definition, when we define a method, we write data type also with parameters. Data type and then variable name. This is for one and this is for second parameter. So if we have not any parameter, we can keep it blank. So here return type specifies the type of value if any that method returns. And method name is name of function, name of method. Data type 1, data type 2. This is the data type of our parameters. Variable 1, variable 2 is parameter passed to function. So here is an example like void sum. So void is our return type. It means this method will not return anything. Then sum is our function name. So here we are not passing any parameter, so that's why we keep it empty. Similarly, here is a second example. Firstly, return type. So when this function will be complete, when this function perform operation, at the end it will return a value integer type. So that's why here we writing int. So if this function will return float result, then we write here float data type. So firstly we will write our return type, then our function name. Here area is our function name, and then we pass two parameters. Here we are passing two parameters. So for parameter, firstly we write data type of parameter and then parameter name. So here we use L of integer type. So that's why we are writing here int L. And similarly for breadth we use B. So here we are writing int B. So this is all about method definition. Then now about method body. Similarly, class body, method body also enclosed in pair of curly braces. So here we are this is our method header, like void area and two parameter we passing, and this is our body of method. So in body of method, we can use local variables, means we can declare variables. As we know, inside the method, variables are known as local variables. Constant declarations for use within method. So we can use here constant declarations. Then sequence of executable statements. Executable statements like we writing here area equals to length into breadth. So we are writing here executable statements that takes some kind of action when the method is invoked. So inside the body of method, we can declare variable, we can declare constants, and also we can write statements that take some action when method is invoked. For example, now we are writing a method area and it will calculate area. So inside this we calculate area. So that's why we writing here int a, because firstly we have to declare a variable and then we want to store a result in by calculating L into breadth, length into breadth. So length and breadth passed by function call will be stored in this. So that's why here we are using L into B. So here our return type is void. Here our return type is void. So that's why we are not writing here any return. Now we in next slide we will learn about return any value. So return value from the method. As we know, in method header we define a return type that specify type of value that method return on completion of its task. To return a value from the method, return statement is used. Firstly, when we want to when in function some value will be returned, firstly we write a return type in header. So inside the body we use return keyword and then our expression. We use keyword return and then expression. Expression can be variable, means here we can use like a variable, constant value like we want to return just 10. As per any our requirement we can return any constant. So expression means, for example, we writing here length into breadth. This is are known as expressions. So in expression we can return variable, constant value, expression as per our requirement. And here is the example that return a variable. So return a is our variable. So now we will see about a method in which we define method header, method body, and return value. We see an example of a method. So firstly, this is our method header. Here return type is integer. Int is return type, means this function will return integer value. Area is function name, we can say method name, and L and B our parameters. We pass parameters. And in method definition, also write data type with parameters. If you not write data type, then error will be occur. So then this curly braces is method body. So in body method body, we write an expression. Expression that calculate area. We writing here int a equals to length into breadth. We can also write it as like int a. Firstly, we declare our variable, and then we can calculate area by multiplying length into breadth and store result in L. You can also write this like int a equals to length into breadth. So this is our return type. So this calculate area and stored in the A. So this is our return. So here we are returning variable. We want to return value of area that is calculated and stored in A. So this return A. So here is one more thing. We will call it in somewhere, the function we define here, we call somewhere. So we call it like area, and in parentheses we pass our value like 2 and 10, and we passing here integer value because our data type is integer. So if we want to return a value, then we have to call this function as in a variable like int r for stand for result. You can declare in first, and then you can assign a value, and at the declaration time we can also initialize. So firstly, I am here declaring a variable r. If here some value will be returned, so we call a function like r equals to area. Because when function will return an value, we sending here value 2 and 5. So area will be 10, because 2 multiply 5 is 10. So now A containing value 10. Return A means return this value to the function call. So this value will be returned here. So this 10 must be stored in some location, at some location. So that's why when function return anything, the function call must be written like this: variable name equals to function call. If you write like this without any variable assignment, then it will not run. Compiler will generate an mess error. So again, I'm repeating, if function return any value, return something, then we have to call a function and assign that function call to a variable, so that result returned by function will be stored in R. So here R will be 10. So result will be stored in R, that is returned by function. So now we will see a class by example. So now we are able to write class definition, in which we understood about class header, class body. And inside the class body, there can be field declaration and method declaration. So we know, now we know about field declaration and method declaration. So now we will see an example in which we create a class whose name is rectangle. So firstly, when we start to write a class, the first step is write class header. So for class header, we use keyword class, then class name, that is rectangle, then body will be started. This curly braces will be written. This is the body of our class. So inside the class, this is our field declaration and this is our method declaration. This is our class header. This is our field declaration. And this is our method declaration. And this is our class body. So in field declaration, we know firstly we will write data type and then our field name. So here we are writing int length, int breadth. Then about method declaration. So in method declaration, firstly we will write method header. So in header, firstly we will write return type. So this method will not return anything, so that's why we are writing here void. Then our function name, that is set data, and in parentheses now we want to pass parameter. So here we want to pass value of length into breadth, so that's why we use two parameters, one for length, second for breadth. So here I'm using L for length, B for breadth. So parameter must have define their data type, so that's why we are writing here int L, int B. So this curly braces is now our method body. So in method body, we use some assignment expressions. So here we assigning this value L and B, value passed by user to our variable length and to breadth. So that's why we writing here length equals to L, breadth equals to B. So here if a user value pass like 5 and 6, so this value will be assigned to the length or this value will be assigned to the breadth. So now length have value 5, breadth have value 6. So another method, here we return some integer value. So that's why we writing int, then our function name, but here we not want to pass any value. So we keep it empty. So this is our method body. So inside the body, we calculate result. So now we want to the calculate result by multiplying length into breadth. So here we know that now length and breadth variable have an value. We assign, we store a value with help of an function. So now here we just multiply length into breadth and store result in variable A. So variable A is not declared firstly, so that's why we're writing here int A. So now we want to return result of A. So that's why we're writing here a return keyword, because for returning, return keyword is used and then we can write any variable expression or constant. So now we want to the return variable value. So that's why we're writing here variable A. So now our class is created, but we cannot use it directly. So to use an class, we have to create objects. So in next slides, we will learn about object creation. So our next concept is creating object of a class, because without objects, we cannot use an class. So class definition is just a template or blueprint. We can use these classes with the help of objects. So for creating an object, we have syntax like, firstly, we will write a class name, then object reference variable. So here we are writing our object name, we can say. Then we use new keyword. This is keyword that is used to create object of classes. Then write class names, and in parentheses we can write parameters, argument list, that parameters we want to pass, we can write. We can also skip it, as it is similar to the function parameters. If we required, we can pass here, otherwise we can skip it. In classes and objects, we keep it empty, but when we learn about constructors, then we pass some parameters. So now just see the simple syntax, like firstly class name, then object name equals to new keyword, class name, then parentheses. So here is an example. We create a class rectangle when we learn about class creation. So firstly, we write our class name, that is rectangle. Then object variable name, this is our object R. Then a new keyword, and then class name. Then write parentheses and semicolon. This is the syntax of the class creation, and this is the example of object creation. So now assessing an object field and methods. In class, we declare fields, we declare methods. So now there must be some way to assess these field and methods, means some way to use these methods and fields. So if you want and assess any field and method inside the class, if we want to assess field and methods inside the class, means inside the body of class, then we simply use like field name and method name, followed by parentheses and a list of arguments. Like if we want to use length, then we can use length. Then function area, so we can call right area, parentheses. But if we want to assess it outside the class, then we have to use dot operator. It is also known as object access operator. Here we use length into breadth, with length variable and breadth variable, but inside the class. This is class body and we declare it here. So we are using these fields inside the class. So we use it simply by length, breadth, by variable names. So if we want to call area function here inside the class, so here we can write simply like int r equals to area, and I'm writing here int r because value is returned. So we can simply use function name and variable name inside the class. But when we want to use these fields and variable outside the class, we have to use dot operator. So now let us see how we can assess field and method outside the class. So if we want to assess length and breadth outside the class, like in previous slide, we create a object R. So R is our object name. So firstly we have to write object name, then dot, then our field name. Field, or we can use method. If we want to use method, then we can write method here. So for example, we want to assess length outside the class. So here R is our object dot length. And if we want to use area method outside the class, then we can use R dot area. So assessing any method and field outside the class, we have to use dot operator. So firstly, we will write our object name, then dot, then field name or method name as per our requirement. So now let us see an full example in which we create a class, we create objects. We will learn about this class in previous slides. Like firstly, we create a class rectangle in which we have two fields, length into breadth, and two methods, set data and area. I explain it in previous slides in detail. So now we will continue after this. So this is our class. This is our class we created. But we cannot use this without objects. So now a new class we will create. So here we create a class demo, whose name is demo. Inside the class, we writing a public static void main. We writing our main method. So we know in main method, we can create our objects. Always objects will be created in main method. A class which contain main method, in that we can create our objects. So here we will create our object. This is the body of a main method. So inside main method, we will create our objects. So we want to create object of rectangle class. So firstly, we will write class name, that is rectangle, then our object name. I'm writing here R, you can use another. Then a new keyword, and then rectangle class name, then our parentheses. And here we not want to pass any value, so that's why we keep it empty. So then we can use this function, set data. And we can access object name dot function name. So here R is our object name, dot set data is our function. So here we have to pass two parameters of integer type. So that's why we are passing here 5 and 2. This will call this function. So now 5 and 2 will be passed. So I'm writing here length equals to L. So L will be assigned to the length and breadth will be 2. So now length will contain 5 and breadth will contain 2. So now we want to call area function. We're writing object name dot area. And here we are not passing nothing because this function will not take any parameter. So we simply write parentheses. But it return an integer value. So we have to store this result into an integer value variable. So that's why we're writing here int result equals to r dot area. So this function will call this function. So now length has value 5, breadth has value 2. After multiplying, a become 10. So now return 10. So this 10 will be returned to this. So now 10 will be stored in a result because this result will be stored in variable result. So now result have value 10. So we want to display it on the screen. So we writing system.out println area is result, and result have value 10. So area will be displayed on the screen like area is 10. If we are passing here another value instead of 5 of 2 like 10 or 2, then area will become 20 and 20 will be displayed. So this is all about classes and objects. Firstly, we have to create a class, then we have to create an object in the main function, a class which contain main function, and then we can access data field and methods with the help of object outside the class. This is all about classes and objects.